Hello viewers, today we will discuss the very important topic of security assurance. Security assurance is a critical aspect in determining the trustworthiness of information system. Security assurance is the measure of confidence that the security features, practices, procedures and architecture of the information system accurately mediates and enforces a security policy. Security assurance can be obtained by the actions taken by the developers and implementation controls with regard to the design, development, implementation and operation of those controls, and the actions taken by the assessors to determine the extent to which the controls are implemented correctly, operating as intended and producing the desired outcome with respect to the meeting the security requirement for the information system and supporting infrastructure. Developers and implementers increase the assurance in e-security controls by employing well-defined security policies, model, structured, disciplined and rigorous hardware and software development techniques and sound system security engineering principle. Assurance is also based on the assessment of evidence produced during initiation, acquisition, developer and operation maintenance phases of the ESDLC. For example, developmental evidence may include the techniques and methods used to design and develop security functionality. Evidence may include flaw reporting and remediation, the result of the security incident reporting and the result of ongoing monitoring of security controls. Independent assessments by qualified assessors may include analysis of the evidence as well testing, inspections and audit. Now first we will discuss what does security control means. Security controls are the safeguards. Safeguards, or you can say, are the countermeasure to avoid, detect, counteract or minimize security risk to physical property. Information computer system control help to reduce the risk of damage or loss by stopping, deterring or slowing down an attack against an asset. To help review or design security controls, they can be classified by several criteria. For example, according to the time that they act relative to the security incident before the event, preventive controls are intended to prevent an incident from occurring by locking out or unauthorized intruder. During the event, detective controls are intended to identify and characterize an incident in the progress by sounding the intruder alarm and alerting the security guards or the police. After the event, corrective controls are intended to limit the extent of any damage caused by the incident by recovering the organization to the normal working status as efficiently as possible. Some security professionals would add further categories such as deterrent control and compensation. Others argue that these are subsidiary categories. This is simply a matter of semantics. Security controls can also be categorized according to their nature. For example, physical control. There is the offenses, doors, locks and fires extinguishers. Then procedural codes like incidents response, process management oversight, security awareness and training. Then technical controls, there is the user's authentication like login and logical access control, antivirus, software, firewalls. Then legal and regulatory or compliance control, privacy laws, policies and clauses. A similar categorization distinguishes control involving people, technology and operation processes. Information security control protects the confidentiality, integrity and information. Again, Some would add further categories such as non-repudiation and accountability depending on how narrowly or broadly the CII trade is defined. Individual controls are often designed to act together to increase effective protection. System of controls can be referred to as frameworks or standards. Frameworks can enable an organization to manage security controls across different types of assets with consistency. For example, a framework can help an organization manage controls over assets regardless of the type of computer operating system. This also enables an organization to assess overall risk. Risk-aware organizations may choose proactively to specify, design, implement, operate and maintain their security controls. Usually by assessing the risk and implementing a comprehensive security management framework such as EISO 227001-2013, the Information Security Forms Standard of Good Practice for Information Security or NISTESP 853. In telecommunication, security controls are defined as security services. As part of the USI references made by the ITU-T by 800 recommendation ISO 74982, this is called Information Processing System, Open Systems Interconnection, Basic Reference Model. Security architects are technically aligned for business to business facing companies whose service may affect the financial statements of the other company. The prospects may require successful audit reports of the policy control, such as the SSA 16 report, before granting them authorization as a vendor. Then we will discuss software security assurance. Software security assurance is a process that helps design and implement software that protects the data and resources contained in and controlled by the software. Software is itself a resource and thus must be afforded appropriate security. Since the number of threats specifically targeting software is increasing, the security of our software that we produce or procure must be assured. Dependence of information technology makes software assurance a key element of business continuity, national security and homeland security. Software security assurance is the process of ensuring the software is designed to operate at the level of security that is consistent with the potential harm that could result from the loss, inaccuracy, alteration, unavailability or misuse of the data and resources that it uses, controls and protects. The software security assurance processes begins by the identifying and categorizing the information that is to be contained in or used by the software. The information should be categorized according to its sensitivity. For example, in the lowest category, the impact of security violation is minimal. The impact on the software owner's mission, function or reputation is negligible. For top category, however, the impact may pose a threat to the human life, may have an irreparable impact on software owner's mission, function, image or reputation, or may result in the loss of significant assets or resources. Once the information is characterized, security requirements can be developed. The security requirements should be addresses access control, including network access and physical access, data management and data access, environment control, power, air conditioning, etc., and offline storage, human resource security and audit trails and users records. Then we will discuss what causes software security problems. All security vulnerabilities in the software are the result of security bugs or defects within the software. In most cases, these defects are created by two primary causes. The first one is non-conformance or failure to satisfy requirements, and an error or omission in the software requirements. Non-conformance or a failure to satisfy requirements in non-conformance may be as simple, and the most common is a coding error or defect, or more complex. There is subtle timing error or input validation error. The important point about the non-conformance is that verification and validation techniques are designed to detect them, and security assurance techniques are designed to prevent them. Improvement in these methods through a software security assurance program, error or omission in the software requirements. The most serious security problems with the software based system are those that developed when the software requirements are incorrect, inappropriate, or incomplete for the system situation. Unfortunately, errors or omission in the requirements are more difficult to identify. For example, the software may perform exactly as required under normal use, but the requirements may not correctly deal with some system state. When the system enters this problem state, unexpected and undesirable behavior may result. This type of problem cannot be handled within the software discipline. It results from a failure of the system and software engineering process which developed and allocated the system requirement to the software. Then we will discuss the software security assurance activities. There are two basic type of software security assurance activity. The very first one is some focus on ensuring that information processed by an information system is assigned a proper sensitivity category, and that the appropriate protection requirement have been developed and met in the system. Others focus on ensuring the control and protection of the software as well as that of the software support tools and the data. At a minimum, a software security insurance program should ensure that the very first one is a security evaluation has been performed for the software. Security requirements have been established for the software. Security requirements have been established for the software development and operation and maintenance processes. Each software review or audit includes an evaluation of the security requirements. A configuration, management and corrective action process is in a place to provide security for the existing software and to ensure that any proposed changes do not inadvertently create security violation of vulnerabilities. Then we will discuss the physical security for the software is adequate. Then fundamental concept of the IT security assurance. Government and commercial organizations rely heavily on the use of information to conduct their business activities. Loss of confidentiality, integrity, availability, accountability, authenticity, reliability of information and services can have an adverse impact on the organizations. Consequently, there is a critical need to protect information and to manage the security of IT system within organizations. Alongside significant benefits, every new technology introduces new challenges for the protection of this information. The requirement to protect information is particularly important in today's environment because many organizations are internally and externally connected by the networks of the IT systems. IT systems are prone to failure and security violations due to error and vulnerabilities. These error and vulnerabilities can be caused by many factors such as rapidly changing technology, human error, poor requirement specification, poor development processes, or underestimating the threat. In addition, system modification, new flaws and new attacks are frequently introduced, which contributes to increased vulnerabilities, failures and security violations throughout the IT system life cycle. The industry came to the realization that it is almost impossible to guarantee an error-free, risk-free and secure IT system due to the imperfection of the opposing security mechanism, human error or oversight and component of equipment failure. Completely secure IT systems do not exist. Only those in which the owners may have varying degree of confidence that security needs of a system are satisfied. In addition, many information systems have not been designed to be secure. The security that can be achieved through technical means is limited and should be supported by appropriate management and procedures. The task of IT security engineering and management is to manage the security risk by mitigating the vulnerabilities and threat with technological and organizational security measures to achieve an IT system with acceptable assurance. ITS management has an additional task establishing acceptable assurance and risk objective. In this way, the stakeholders of an IT system will achieve reasonable confidence that the IT system performs in the way intended or claimed with the acceptable risk and within the budget. Then we will discuss assurance and confidence. It is important to emphasize that assurance and confidence are not identical and cannot be used in the place of one another. Too often these terms are used incorrectly because they are closely related. In ISO ICTR 15443 defined these terms as follow. The confidence from the perspective of an individual is related to the belief that one has in the assurance of entity, whereas assurance is related to the demonstrated ability of an entity to perform its security objectives. Assurance is determined from the evidence produced by the assessment processes by entity. For security engineering, assurance is defined as the degree of confidence that the security needs of a system are satisfied. Assurance does not add any additional control to the counter risks related to the security, but it does provide confidence that the controls that have been implemented will reduce the anticipated risk. Assurance can also be viewed as a confidence that the safeguard will function as intended. It is also important to understand that assurance does not automatically imply good security. Assurance applies only that an enterprise meets its security objective. In other words, assurance provides confidence that the deliverable enforces its security objectives without examining whether the security objectives appropriately address risk and threats. Then we will discuss assurance requirements. In the term of ITS, adequate assurance signifies the specified predefined security assurance requirements have been satisfied by performing appropriate assurance processes and activities. Security assurance requirements are determined by analyzing the security requirement of the IT system. Influencers, policies, business, drivers and the IT system's target environment. Influencers are of any consideration that need to be addressed as they may affect the IT system. Assurance requirements, the influence can have any origin and may include such intangibles as politics, culture, local laws and mandated requirements. Security is concerned with the protection of assets. Assets are entities upon which someone places value. Many assets are in the form of information that is stored, processed and transmitted by the IT products. To meet requirements laid down by the owner of the information, safeguarding assets of the interest is the responsibility of the owners who place value on those assets. Actual or presumed threat agent may also place value on the assets and seeks to abuse asset in the manner contrary to the interest of the owner. A risk assessment is performed to provide in-depth look at asset sensitivity, vulnerabilities and threats to determine the residual risk and recommendation for the existing and proposed safeguards. The recommendation implemented are factored into the original security requirements to revise the security assurance requirements. It is also important to note that assurance requirements are unique to each environment. Due to the myriad business and security requirements of each environment, the same IT system may not be suitable to the other environments without modification, because different assurance requirement will usually need to be satisfied. Assurance methods applicable to the ITs. Now we will discuss this term. Application of the appropriate assurance activity establishes confidence that the IT system satisfy its security objective. Confidence is realized by reviewing the assurance evidence gained through assessment processes and activities during development and operation, and through experience gained in using the IT system. Any activities that can reduce uncertainty by producing evidence attesting to the correctness, effectiveness and quality of the IT systems attribute are useful in determining security assurance. There are many existing assurance methods, but only a small number are specific to ITS. However, non-ITS assurance methods may also contain certain assurance properties that are relevant to the ITS assurance. Due to the small number of available assurance methods specific to the ITS, it is important to recognize the value of all assurance methods, since many non-security related assurance methods are used throughout the IT industry. Anything that can be used to construct an insurance argument and thereby reduce the uncertainty associated with a particular deliverable is considerable importance. Information security and health research. Information security and assurance are an increasingly critical issue in health research. Whether health research be in a genetic, new drugs, disease, outbreaks, biochemistry or effect of radiation, it deals with the information that is highly sensitive and which could be targeted by the rogue individuals or the groups, corporation, national intelligence agencies or terrorists looking for financial, social or political gains. The advent of the internet and advance in recent information technology have also dramatically increased opportunity for attackers to exploit sensitive and valuable information. Government agencies have deployed legislative measures to protect the privacy of health information and developed information security guidelines for epidemiological studies. However, risks are grossly underestimated and little efforts have been made to strategically and comprehensively protect health research information by institutions, governments and international communities. There is a need to enforce a set of proactive measures to protect health research information locally and globally. Such measures should be deployed at all levels, but will be successful only if research communities collaborate actively. Governments enforce appropriate legislative measures at national level and the international level community develops quality standards, concluding treaties if necessary at the global level. Proactive measures for the best information security and the assurance would be achieved through rigorous management process with the cycle of plan, do, check and act. Each health research entity such as hospitals, universities, institutions, laboratories should implement this cycle and establish an authoritative security and assurance organization, program and plan coordinated by the designated chief security officer who will ensure implementation of the above process, putting appropriate security controls in the place with the key focus area such as policies and best practices, enforcement and certification, risk assessment and audit, monitoring and incident response, awareness and training, and modern protection method and architecture. Government should enforce a comprehensive scheme, and international health research communities should adopt standardized innovative method and approaches. In concluding remarks, software security assurance is a process that helps designs and implements software that protects the data, resource contained in and controlled by the software. Software is itself a resource and thus must be afforded appropriate security. Since the number of threats specifically targeting software is increasing, the security of a software that we produce, procure must be assured. Dependence on the information technology makes software assurance a key element of business continuity. National security, the homeland security. The global business world of the 21st century has been catastrophic financial losses to the companies brought on by the security breaches. The business world today dictates the urgency and importance of the front-end life cycle software security development. Government and commercial organizations rely heavily on the use of information to conduct their business activity. Loss of confidentiality, integrity, availability, accountability, authenticity, and reliability of the information and services can have an adverse impact on the organization. Consequently, there is a critical need to protect the information and to manage the security of IT system within the organizations. Alongside significant benefit, every new technology introduces new challenge for the protection of this information. The requirement to protect the information is particularly important in today's environment because many organizations are internally and externally connected by the network of IT system. Traditionally, assurance has been associated only with the IT products and system composed of hardware and software and referred to as a product assurance or system assurance. It is now recognized that to address a wide range of risk, there is a need for assurance of other security objectives such as security service, process personnel, organization, or other environmental factor. Assurance may be sought by the stakeholder of the IT system who have assets at the risk in the IT system. Therefore, the determination of an acceptable assurance method and level of assurance may be required and influenced by the stakeholder. Assurance does not add any safeguards or services to the deliverable. Thus, it is sometimes difficult for non-security personnel to understand what benefit they are receiving from the investment of resource in assurance. Direct qualification or valuation of the contribution of assurance or increased assurance to the organization is not easy to achieve. However, increased assurance of security control reduces the uncertainty associated with the risk, especially the vulnerability component of the risk that control is implemented to the addressee. So, it is necessary to understand how each assurance method establishes assurance in order to decide whether a particular assurance method will satisfy the organization's assurance requirement or not. Thank you viewers for watching this program.